The following is a Hennessy Hendo production. It includes excerpts and material from my vast collection of books and general knowledge. My collection spans many centuries and millennia. I upload as I have time, but the sheer volume is just so immense. It would do the people of the world good to listen to some actual classics or educate themselves on all manner of topics from fictional books to philosophy. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Following Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 U.S. presidential election, several high-profile celebrities have expressed intentions to relocate from the United States, citing various personal and political reasons. Notable examples include Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have reportedly relocated to the United Kingdom, specifically to the Cotswolds region, following the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Sources indicate that their decision was influenced by disillusionment with the political climate after Donald Trump's re-election. The couple had purchased their UK property prior to the election, but decided to expedite their move in response to the election outcome. America Ferrera, known for her roles in Ugly Betty and Barbie, is reportedly planning to relocate to the United Kingdom with her husband, Ryan Piers Williams, and their 2 children. This decision comes in the wake of Donald Trump's re-election in 2024, which left Ferrera feeling sick and devastated over Kamala Harris's loss. A source close to the actress stated, she thought the country she lived in was better than that. Brian Cox plans to spend as much time as possible in the UK following Trump's election victory, expressing concerns about the next 4 years in the US. Cox, known for his role in Succession, has been a vocal critic of Trump, describing him as a monster, and expressing concerns about the direction of the United States under his leadership. Despite his desire to reside more in the UK, Cox acknowledges that his sons live in the US, which necessitates his continued presence there. Eva Longoria, the actress, announced plans to split her time between Spain and Mexico, expressing concerns over the political climate following Trump's re-election. She described the US as a scary place if Trump keeps his promises. Barbra Streisand, the acclaimed singer and actress, has been a vocal critic of Donald Trump. In a November 2023 interview on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, she stated, "I can't live in this country if he becomes president," and mentioned the possibility of moving to England. This sentiment echoed her remarks from a 2016 60 Minutes interview, where she expressed similar concerns about a potential Trump presidency and contemplated relocating to Canada or Australia. Celebrities who said they would move after the 2016 election. Cher is one of many celebrities who threatened to leave the US if Donald Trump won the presidential election. She said, "I'm going to have to leave the planet." Jon Stewart also said he'd leave the planet. At the 2015 Emmys, he said if Trump were ever in office, I would consider getting in a rocket and going to another planet because clearly this planet has gone bonkers. NEO said he'd move to Canada if Trump won. "Me and Drake gonna be neighbors if Donald Trump becomes president," the singer told TMZ. Chelsea Handler bought a house in Spain and said on Live with Kelly, "I did buy a house in another country just in case, so all of these people that threaten to leave the country and then don't, I will leave the country." Keegan-Michael Key said he would move to Canada if Trump won. "It's like 10 minutes from Detroit," the comedian told TMZ. "That's where I'm from. My mom lives there. It'd make her happy, too." Lena Dunham said she'd move to Vancouver if Trump won the election. "I know a lot of people have been threatening to do this, but I really will," Dunham said. "I know a lovely place in Vancouver and I can get my work done from there." Neve Campbell, who is from Canada, said that she would return to her home country if Trump triumphed in the election. Miley Cyrus wrote on Instagram, "I am moving if this is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Bryan Cranston said of a Trump win, "Absolutely. I would definitely move to Canada. It's not real to me that would happen. I hope to God it won't. It wouldn't be a vacation. I'd be an expatriate." Key restrictions on freedom of speech in the UK. Freedom of speech in the UK is subject to limitations set by legislation and judicial interpretation. These restrictions aim to prevent harm and maintain societal order. A. Hate speech. Public Order Act 1986 makes it an offense to incite racial, religious, or homophobic hatred. Covers speech, writing, or behavior intended to stir up hatred. Racial and Religious Hatred Act 2006 expands protections against incitement to hatred on the grounds of religion. B. Defamation. Defamation Act 2013 protects individuals and entities from false statements that harm their reputation. Balances freedom of expression with protection against reputational damage by requiring claimants to demonstrate that the defamatory statement caused or is likely to cause serious harm. Century Obscenity and Indecency. Obscene Publications Act 1959 prohibits the distribution of material considered obscene, i.e., material that tends to deprave or corrupt those likely to view it. D. National Security and Public Order. Terrorism Act 2006 criminalizes the glorification of terrorism and the dissemination of terrorist publications. Official Secrets Act 1989 prohibits unauthorized disclosure of classified government information. E. Harassment and Abuse. Malicious Communications Act 1988 criminalizes the sending of messages intended to cause distress or anxiety. Communications Act 2003, Section 127, prohibits the use of public electronic communications networks to send grossly offensive, indecent, or menacing messages. F. Public Nuisance and Disruption. Police, Crime, Sentencing, and Courts Act 2022 expands police powers to regulate protests, including restrictions on noise levels and disruptions caused by protests. Also laws regarding online speech. Online Safety Bill, pending as of 2023, aims to regulate harmful online content while balancing freedom of speech with public safety. Imposes duties on tech companies to manage illegal and harmful content. Canada Restrictions on Freedom of Speech, Reasonable Limits Clause, Section 1. The Charter allows for limitations on freedom of speech if they can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Courts assess these limitations using a proportionality test, balancing individual rights against broader public interests. Key limitations on freedom of speech. Canadian law recognizes several restrictions to ensure that freedom of speech does not harm others or society. A. Hate Speech Criminal Code of Canada, Section 319, 1, prohibits the incitement of hatred against identifiable groups when it is likely to lead to a breach of the peace. Section 319, 2, prohibits willfully promoting hatred against identifiable groups, regardless of whether violence is likely to result. Identifiable groups includes groups defined by race, religion, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and other characteristics. Defenses. Accused individuals may argue that their statements are true, were made in good faith, or were part of a legitimate public debate. B. Obscenity Criminal Code of Canada, Section 163, prohibits the production, distribution, and possession of obscene materials, which are defined as those that unduly exploit sex, crime, horror, cruelty, or violence. C. Defamation. Civil defamation laws, governed by provincial law. Defamation involves publishing false statements that harm a person's reputation. Truth is a defense against defamation claims. D. Harassment and Threats Criminal Code of Canada prohibits communications that are threatening, harassing, or intimidating. E. National Security and Public Safety Anti-Terrorism Act, 2001, limits expression that promotes terrorism or advocates for violent activities. F. Privacy and confidentiality laws like the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act, PIPEDA, restrict speech that infringes on individual privacy. G. Court and legal restrictions. Contempt of court prohibits speech that prejudices ongoing legal proceedings or violates publication bans. Publication bans. Courts may restrict media from reporting certain details, particularly in sensitive cases, e.g., involving minors. Limitations. Press freedom may be restricted in cases of national security, privacy concerns, or defamation. Regulation of online speech. Proposed legislation on online harm. The Canadian government has introduced frameworks to combat harmful online content, such as hate speech, terrorist content, and child exploitation. Canadian Human Rights Act, prior to 2013, Section 13 prohibited online communications likely to expose people to hatred or contempt based on prohibited grounds of discrimination. This provision was repealed in 2013, though discussions about its reintroduction persist. Mexico restrictions on freedom of speech. Freedom of expression in Mexico is not absolute and is limited in cases involving incitement to violence. Speech that incites violence, crime, or rebellion is prohibited. Defamation and harm to reputation. Speech harming an individual's reputation can lead to civil liability. Obscenity and morality. Content deemed obscene or offensive to public morality may face restrictions. Journalistic restrictions. Sensitive information, particularly related to national security, is often restricted from publication. Increased use of social media has prompted calls for regulation to combat fake news, particularly during elections. Critics caution that such regulations should not infringe on free expression.
Thank you for watching. Please share the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Check out other series including 10-minute synopses or complete audiobooks on Hennessy Hendo on YouTube. Improve your vocabulary. Be more fun at parties. Increase your knowledge. Become a literary master like Hendo.